Hello there, my name is Mooseman, and today I will be informing you of whether you should play, wait, or avoid the kart racing game Coffin Dodgers. As always, we will be looking at gameplay, visuals, value, and future potential before making a final verdict on the beta early access version of Coffin Dodgers. Coffin Dodgers is a traditional style kart racer in which you play as one of 7 retired senior citizens racing in a life or death gauntlet against the Grim Reaper on mobility scooters. But only one of those seniors can survive, so not only do you have to outrun death, but you also have to outrun your fellow bingo buddies. The bottom of the ladder in each set of races will be killed off and then resurrected to drive as a zombie for the Grim Reaper, so trying to ensure that that doesn't happen to you is essential. In order to win races, you need to use weapons that you find on the field in question blocks to slow down your opponents. There are a total of 6 different weapons you can come across, including a boost, oil, defibrillator, shield, missiles, and a machine gun. Compared to other kart racers, the weapons are a bit harder to hit with, but they do cause significant damage when they do hit. Your racer can get knocked off completely or simply slowed down depending on what weapon you get hit by. You also get a cane that can be used to melee nearby enemies to slow them down, or you can charge up a melee strike to knock your opponents clear off their mobility scooter. Coffin Dodgers, while not extremely innovative, is a fun and silly addition to a somewhat lacking kart racing genre. The driving is fast and fluid and the weapons are satisfying and easy to use. There isn't much depth to the racing mechanics, but the speed that your mobility scooter goes at makes most of the races fairly challenging to win. Coffin Dodgers has quite a bit more skill involved in it than would initially meet the eye. Getting hit by weapons means you will drop several places, so ensuring that you don't get hit early on is essential to winning. Hitting walls hard also causes the same effect as getting hit by a weapon, meaning skillful driving is just as important as defensive driving. One innovation that Coffin Dodgers does do is it implements an upgrade system. You can use the coins that you've won in races to increase the stats on your scooter, making it easier to beat your elderly opponents. The upgrades include boosting your engine, transmission, aerodynamics, weapon capacity, and changing your color. These upgrades give you an edge over your opponents, but never enough to crush them if you still lack driving skill. Although the game is pretty bug-free, there is one bug that seems to affect racing slightly. It seems that when you're going uphill, your kart stutters, and while some slowdown is expected while going uphill, even in scenarios where you're supposed to be boosting, you end up going slower than your opponents. I just ended up avoiding unnecessary ramps, but this seems like the only bug that generally affects racing, so I hope it gets fixed in the future. So let's briefly talk about some balance traits that are specific to kart racers. Balance can make or break a kart racer, and it seems like Coffin Dodgers does a decent job of balancing the game against the AI. That doesn't mean it couldn't be better, however. The game doesn't seem to have any rubber banding, a term that means other players get extra speed for being behind, but when combined with the difficult weaponry, the game favors those already in the lead immensely. As long as you don't smack into any walls, gaining a first place lead essentially entitles you to victory. Weapons only work a few feet ahead of you, so once someone gains a large lead, it is hard to catch up. Couple that with the fact that there's only one item in the game that you can use to catch up, balance issues could arise in an online environment. This leads me to my main negative point about Coffin Dodgers, the lack of any multiplayer. While multiplayer is planned for the future, as a kart racer is an extremely egregious offense not to have any form of multiplayer on launch. The last 3 games I reviewed also did not have online multiplayer, but while it was disappointing in those cases, it's unacceptable in a kart racer. Kart racers are the quintessential multiplayer game. The single player of any kart racer is merely practice when it comes to the multiplayer. I hope that split screen and online are added soon, as playing this with friends online was something I was really looking forward to when I was originally checking out this game. The visuals of Coffin Dodgers are one of Coffin Dodgers' weakest points. The game honestly looks dated by at least 10 years if not more. The houses are square, the character models are just bad overall, and it's a bit jarring to play at first. Strange thing is the game doesn't lack style. The level design in Coffin Dodgers is actually pretty good. Each set of 3 tracks has a theme and implements the theme well. The story of the game, while short, gives the game a good theme to work with and allows hilarity of hitting your rivals with canes to become a reality. One of the things that puzzles me about Coffin Dodgers is why exactly the visuals are so weak. Milky T Studios, the developer of the game, are primarily an animation studio, so what happened between the image we saw on the intro screen and the characters that we got? I expected that in a game from an animation studio that the visuals would be one of the strongest features of the game, but instead we got a game with graphics comparable to Crash Team Racing from 1999. One positive point about the visuals is the implementation of ragdoll physics. How do you make old people flying down the road in mobility scooters extremely fast funnier? Make the old people fly off the mobility scooters faster. There have been several times I've actually felt sorry for those who I've hit with weapons after seeing them faceplant into a fence, but then I remember I need to win, and so they need to hold on tighter next time. The game is $20 with a first week discount to $13. Even at the game's discounted price, $13 is pretty steep for what the game currently has to offer. The The story mode takes just a bit over an hour to complete, and with no multiplayer there really isn't much here to justify a $20 price tag. There are a couple additional modes including time trials and free roam that do add some value however. Time trials allows you to play previously played courses solo with only boosts enabled, allowing you to practice courses at full speed without any competition. Your ghosts do get saved, and so trying to improve your times can give the game a little more replayability. Free roam is kind of cool, but it really only is a bonus rather than a full game mode. Any potential the Coffin Dodgers has will be irrelevant until the bare minimum local multiplayer and eventually online multiplayer become available. But once they are added, I can see Coffin Dodgers stepping up to fill a role of a fun, comedic kart racer that has some very decent gameplay. Some of the things I would like to see added in the future, however, include some additional weapons and balance to help players that are behind catch up without relying on the player in first hitting a wall. As I said earlier, the balance can make or break a kart racer, so I hope the developers consider balance as a top priority to ensure multiplayer success. Coffin Dodgers is a simple and fun kart racer, but in its current state doesn't quite have the amount of gameplay and replayability necessary to back up the price tag. That is why I'm giving Coffin Dodgers the verdict of wait. As a kart racer it's a fun game, but without the ability to at least race friends locally, let alone online, Coffin Dodgers will probably sink into my personal game graveyard until multiplayer becomes available. But when it does, I expect Coffin Dodgers to be a solid kart racer that old school karting fans will love and feel nostalgic playing. Thank you for watching Play, Wait, or Avoid of Coffin Dodgers. If you would like to buy the game, a link to the Steam store page is in the description below. And if you would like to see more of my content, like and subscribe and check out my channel where I do reviews and other gaming commentary, such as my review on Medieval Engineers, a creative building game set in medieval times with realistic destruction physics, or my review on Grand Class Melee 2, a Smash Bros-esque class-based fighting game where you go up against 3 opponents in a skill-evolving fight to the death.